Welcome back to Level-Headed Mind. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a live broadcast that I did on Thursday on LinkedIn with Ashley P. Evans, the creator and founder of Psych Life Tea. She makes wonderful t-shirts and coffee mugs, such as this one, that help to promote mental health awareness. I'll link to her website in the description, so hopefully you can go check it out. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 7 tips on how to stay mentally fit. So I hope you enjoy it.
All right. Thank you, Cassandra. Cassandra is our glorified Chief Executive Officer.
Yeah, she helped us get this all set up. You guys go show her some love, follow her on her page. She's got a lot of good information. If you want to know more about how your genetic makeup makes out who you are and your personality, she can really get down with that and help you achieve your goals if you're meeting some roadblocks. And she also helps companies do the same with their employees. So definitely check her out.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, it's 6:01, and I feel like it's a good point for us to go ahead and get started. We definitely want to be respectful of everyone's time. I'll just introduce myself for a moment, and then I will let the wonderful Giselle introduce herself as well. I'm sure many of you know this already, but my name is Ashley Evans, and I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner and founder of Psych Life Tea Company. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight with you. We have been looking forward to this for literally the last few weeks. So thank you so much for being here. As you come in, we ask that you put your name in, well, you don't have to put your name, but your location in the comments so that we can shout you out and engage with you more. Okay, and Giselle.
Hi, everyone. My name's Giselle, and I'm also a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I'm based in Florida, and I'm also the founder and creator of Level-Headed Mind, which currently is a YouTube channel, an educational platform that talks about mental health and mainly mental health treatments to educate patients on different mental health topics and treatments. But next month, or April, I will be starting my own practice under the same name. So I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited for you too.
Thank you.
That is wonderful. I'm very proud of you for being able to bring your vision to light.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to get started with our 7 tips that we're bringing to you this evening. These tips are meant for you to really increase your mental fitness, okay? In today's day and age, there's so many things pulling at us, right? There's so many things that we have to consider. We have to go outside and literally put on a mask every time we step into the store. So we just want to bring you, very usable ways that are practical that you can implement right away to increase your mental fitness. So we're going to start with sleep hygiene. I don't know if this is an issue for you or any of you on, today's class with us, but it can be sometimes very difficult to fall asleep at night. I know I sometimes have that issue. There are things, though, that you can do to ensure that you create a sleep hygiene routine that will help you fall asleep at night. And not just fall asleep, but stay asleep and have a really good, restful night's sleep. Okay? How many of you agree with this? We want to hear you in the comments. We want to see what you're saying and how you feel. How many of you agree with this? When sleep goes, everything goes, right? I mean,
absolutely.
When you're not sleeping well, you don't feel well, right? When you're not sleeping well, you get sicker, your body is fatigued, okay? And overall, you just feel terrible. And after a few days of not sleeping, I don't know if many of you know this, but it can actually lead to many mental illnesses, or it can at
Mm-hmm.
least lead to maybe a brief psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Many people don't know that it can actually lead you to the hospital. I personally have seen so many patients who, the reason why they checked in is because they say, man, I just haven't been sleeping. I haven't been sleeping, as they're telling you what they've been doing for the last several days. I haven't slept in 5 days. And to them, it's because they maybe have a big test that they're studying for, right? Or they
Mm-hmm.
have a big proposal that they're working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they forget about self, right, Giselle? And when
Absolutely.
you forget about self, it can really cause very detrimental effects. And it can start, as a matter of fact, it can cause you to hallucinate,
Mm-hmm.
part of that psychosis. And for those who don't know what psychosis is that period where you lose contact with reality. That's the best way that I can explain it without going through, the medical jargon. It's just, maybe not knowing who you are, where you are, what you're doing. It happens. And so we want you to know that you have to take very intentional steps to ensure that you're getting the correct amount of sleep. What is the correct amount of sleep? I'm glad you asked. It's 7 to 9 hours each night. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are even apps on your phone that you can use. This phone that we all have. Get your phone, download those apps, and allow those apps to really be like a schedule of when you go to bed. It will send a sound to you telling you it's time for you to go and take some rest. There's also apps that kind of calm you down. They have these wonderful sounds that they make, such as the ocean, or maybe a bird chirping if that's your thing, right? Or, I mean, just anything, okay? Maybe the wind.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want you all to understand just how essential it is to get your rest at night. Okay. And so there is a resource that Giselle has regarding sleep that we
Mm-hmm.
would love to share with you if you would like it. Just send Giselle or myself a DM, and we would be glad to get that um, very valuable resource into your hands. Okay.
Yes, it's a PDF form that has all the steps that you should take to establish a good sleep routine, and also can be something that if you're a practitioner yourself, you can hand to your patients. But it's just a really good quick read on the steps that you need to basically establish a good sleep routine and establish sleep hygiene. But one of the very simple steps that you can actually take right now is the light. So the light has a lot to do with setting your circadian rhythm. And we have a little gland in the very back of our head called the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And your retina sends signals to the pineal gland based on the light. What the pineal gland does is that it actually influences the release of melatonin. And melatonin is what actually activates our circadian rhythm and gets us into a proper sleep rhythm. So in order to do this and to activate your circadian rhythm, this is what you need to do. So when you first wake up in the morning, you want to make sure within 30 minutes of waking up that you see natural light, whether that be stepping outside on your porch, take a look at the light outside, opening up your blinds, taking a look at some natural light. I work from home, and so that's what I do. I step outside to get some natural light into my eyes, and it basically tells my brain, the pineal gland, that, okay, it's daytime, let's turn down the melatonin,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Then at night, when the sun sets, the melatonin increases. The problem is that now we all are into our computers, our phones, and so they emit blue light. And this light is still telling our pineal gland that it's time to be awake. And so the melatonin stays suppressed and therefore that never starts to increase the way it's supposed to. So when it's time to go to bed and you go to shut your eyes, your melatonin then has to start increasing as if it were 7 o'clock in the evening. So it's going to take a few hours before it starts releasing enough to make you fall asleep. So one thing that you can do is put on your blue light blocker glasses.
That's right.
My blue light blocker glasses. Let me tell you something. These glasses are my lifesaver because I work from home, and yes, I'm up typing my notes on this computer late at night. And putting these on when the sun sets makes a big difference in my ability to fall asleep. If I don't put these on and I go to sleep right after being on the computer and I try to wind down like I normally do, what happens is my mind is awake and my brain is activated and my thoughts are running around, racing around. I'm thinking about what I did, what I didn't do, what I should do, what I could do. And it just goes on and on and on for hours until I can finally fall asleep. But putting these glasses on will actually help for me. You know, right now, my melatonin is going to start to increase the way it's supposed to. And so this is an actionable step that you all can do. You can get these on Amazon. I'm not sponsored by any brands or anything. I don't even know what the brand of this one is, but you know, you can get them on Amazon, and they're fairly inexpensive, but they'll make a very big difference in your ability to fall asleep. And I just really wanted to tell you all about this so that when I threw them on, y'all weren't looking at me like, man, she's strange. What kind of glasses is she wearing? Now you know, because these are going to stay on the rest of the program. Because I need to sleep tonight.
That's right. I did want to get to some of the comments. That was great, Giselle. Thank you so much. So Cassandra said when she doesn't sleep well, she's literally sick. She knows that it can cause that is caused by a lack of sleep. And Jamal is saying no one wants to be around him when he doesn't get his rest because he can become very cranky. He also recalls seeing another counselor's client, and that client had a mental breakdown and had literally gone crazy from lack of sleep for 3 nights. Guilt had been eating that client alive. Cassandra shared the app that she uses at night, which is Calm. I love that. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. He really likes Thunderstorm. Yeah, that's really cool. And let's see. Okay, very good. Now we're going to move on to tip number 2. If no one has any questions, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box because, like I said, we want this to be an engaging opportunity, and we're loving the fact that you all are talking to us. Okay, it's giving us lots of energy. So thank you for that. So the second tip that we want to talk to you about is gratitude journaling. Okay, or just journaling, period. Okay, because this is another really good way to stay mentally fit. Journaling can actually be lots of fun. Okay, and you can really make it your own. When I first became acquainted with Giselle, she told me about gratitude journaling. And she said that she writes down right before bed 3 things that she's very thankful for that day. I loved it. I was like, oh my God, that makes my heart like feel so happy. Like oftentimes we just really don't take time to just be thankful for what it is we have, right? And there might not be something for you to be thankful for, like, you know, you won $1 million that day. Maybe it's not something earth shattering like that. However, that's not the only thing that we should be thankful for, right?
Right.
We should be thankful for life. We should be thankful for health, our home, our bed, the pillow, the
Hmm.
food that we eat, having a refrigerator to store our food in. Do you all know there are people who don't have a refrigerator? I didn't mean to get on here and preach today, but I'm just being very honest, with you that we really are so very blessed. Okay. And that journaling can really allow you to tap into a kind of like understanding just how blessed you really are so that you don't take it for granted. It really can be fun. So, another one that you can do is thought journaling. Okay. Thought journaling is when you reflect over your day. Okay. And you reflect over the things that you interpreted it in a very negative way. You all know as well as I do, not every experience you have in 24 hours is positive, right, Giselle?
That's right.
Right. I mean, there are some things that are just negative. You interpreted it in a very negative way. So that thought journaling is a way to write down how you felt and reframe, the negative into a very positive spin. Is literally retraining your brain, kind of utilizing CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy.
Hmm.
Okay. That is basically what you're tapping into when you do the thought journaling. Okay. And it really is very beneficial, helping you, as I said, to see the glass as half full and not half empty, allowing you to focus on the positive, seeing things positively and not seeing things negatively. It really can have a tremendous effect and impact on your overall mood and psyche. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so journaling is very akin to the very next tip that Giselle is going to share with you, which is meditation, as well as mindfulness and prayer.
Absolutely, yes. And I like your thoughts there on the journaling and journaling out your thoughts. And it's not to negate your negative thoughts. It's to actually look at the negative and the positive, it's to see both of them. And then in time, you start seeing things from both perspectives, so you can reframe your thinking in that way, so that you're not always going directly to the negative thinking and the downward spiral, which can lead to anxiety and depression and other mental illnesses. So that was very good, Ashley.
Thank you.
And the tip with meditation, mindfulness, and prayer, they all go hand in hand. And typically, when people talk about meditation, they think about, oh, I have to be completely silent, or I have to be still, I have to sit a certain way. And that's not actually true. Mindfulness is a type of meditation. And what mindfulness is where you focus on a thing, which is typically taught as your breath, because it's very easy to focus on how your breath comes in through your nose and through your lungs and provides you with life. And then thoughts will come into your mind. It's actually very natural for many thoughts to come into your mind, and it's very difficult to actually get to what's called Zen mode, where Buddhists can actually get to that mode because they meditate for hours each day. So they can get to a point where they have no thoughts at all in their mind when they meditate. But actually, the common person, myself and you all, when you try meditation, you're actually going to have thoughts and come into your mind. And the goal of meditation is that you don't focus on those thoughts. You just let them be.
Right.
And the way I like to do this is I think about my thoughts as clouds, and they're just passing by. And it's like, okay, there's a cloud and it's passing by. In the meantime, I redirect my focus back to, say, my breath. Now, if the breath focus is a little difficult for you, You can focus on sound. So you could do like the Calm app or any other app. There's free sounds on YouTube as well, where you could just, focus on the sounds of an ocean or the sounds of nature, whatever sound you want, the sounds in the room, like the air conditioning humming or buzzing, the refrigerator turning on and off. It's just basically redirecting your thought and staying in the present. Okay. So I like for us to actually practice together 1 minute of a mindfulness meditation so that you guys can see what this is like. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, you don't have to close your eyes. You can choose to close your eyes, or you can just look downward. Okay. And what you're going to want to do is start thinking about your breath and how the breath flows in through your nose and down into your lungs, and how the breath actually gives your body life. And as you breathe in, your belly expands. As you breathe out, it contracts. And if there are thoughts, just let them be. Stay in the moment. Stay with your breath. And as you're now coming out of this 1 minute meditation, you can start wiggling your fingers and your toes and slowly opening your eyes and coming back into the room. Okay? That was a brief meditation. However, you could do that for 1 minute. You could do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever time that you could set aside for the day. You could do it in the morning. You could do it at night. I prefer to do it at night as part of my sleep routine, along with the journaling as also part of my routine, so that it's a way for me to wind down and get to sleep. And another thing that is also helpful with helping you wind down if you're stressed in the middle of the day or even at night when you want to go to sleep is going to be our next tip, which Ashley's going to talk about, which is stretching.
Yes. Before I start talking about stretching, 2 things. I would love to get your thoughts in the comments. Just tell us how you feel after that very brief moment of mindfulness. Tell us. I mean, I will tell you, honest to God, Giselle, like I was so anxious right before we did this, the live tonight. I was very anxious, and that breathing exercise took all of that anxiety away, seriously. And it was just for a minute, and I even peeked my eyes open. I was like, are we done yet? But I would love to hear how you all feel. Like, I feel so much better. So, yeah. Cassandra says she feels really relaxed and she's ready to take a whole nap. Jamal said he was eating Doritos. Jamal, can you do better? Okay. Okay. And Lisa said that she's feeling more relaxed, but her kids are yelling and she was able to respond in a better way.
That's good. That's very good.
I love
it does
that.
help set your mind to help reduce stress and think of things a bit differently.
Absolutely. So the second thing was really an additional, tip, a bonus, if you will, to Giselle's section that she just covered for mindfulness. Jamal has got to stop saying funny things. He just said he was mindful of the crunching because it was so loud.
Actually, that's one way to be mindful is actually with
Yeah.
eating. Seriously, if you could, if while you're eating, you're just focusing on the taste of the food, the sound of the food, that's actually a practice of mindfulness. So you can be mindful in anything that you do.
So good job, Jamal.
Okay,
Okay.
exactly. Good job,
So
Jamal.
the bonus that I was going to give you all is that several weeks ago, first of all, I historically have had a difficult time sleeping for many years. Okay. It started after my second and last child was born almost 7 years ago. But a couple of months ago, I purchased some lavender oils. Do you all know that you can get these roll on oils? Yeah. And they have this enhanced, beautiful scent aroma, right? And you roll it on your neck and on your upper chest. And it really, I mean, it doesn't make me feel sleepy, because historically I just don't sleep well at night, no matter what I do. But it does calm me. I will say that. It calms me, so that I can do some Netflixing for a little while, right? Um, so maybe that would be something that you all can look into as well. And when you combine that with journaling, the meditation, the mindfulness, the prayer, I am hopeful and prayerful that it will enhance your sleep hygiene. Okay. Okay. So now that you're all zenned out, with mindfulness and meditation, I love to talk to you for a moment about stretching. Okay. One of my friends that I actually met on LinkedIn, Terry, I don't know if she's on the call tonight, Terry Bird, but in a question that I posted, I believe last week, I was talking about ways that people can um, kind of relax. What do you do to relax, right? And clear that mental space that isn't very positive. How can you do that? And so Terry said, I stretch. She stretches. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, because I never really think of how stretching can alleviate, tension, but that's exactly what it does, right? As Gwendolyn just pointed out, turn off the TV, don't use your cell phone, turn off the lights. And y'all, if you add some stretching in there, which we're going to do in a minute, it has tremendous, wonderful effects on the body. It reduces body tension, as I just stated. It helps to reduce tightening and pain if you target specific areas in your body, which you can look on YouTube. And guys, you can follow a whole routine to target a particular area. Several months ago, almost a year ago, I was having increased back pain, and they taught me how to do on some of the YouTube channels. I learned how to open up the space in my back, and it was just wonderful. I mean, it was painful, right? But after I got through the pain, I noticed some relief, so it really is a wonderful way to reduce some of that pain that you feel. Also, stretching has been known to increase our serotonin levels. What do serotonin levels do? I'll give you a bonus. I'll give you something. Maybe I'll, sing a little bit at the end. Maybe not. But anyway, what does serotonin do? It elevates your mood. It's a happy endorphin, catecholamine, neurotransmitter. It makes you happy. Okay. When your serotonin is decreased, it makes you sad. Okay. So stretching releases serotonin, and it's just wonderful. So I would love to take a moment as we collect our breath that Giselle reminded us about. Consider the fact that stretching helps to stabilize our mood, reduce stress, and overall makes us feel good. With that being in mind, I want us to take a quick 15 to 20-second stretch. And Giselle and I are going to do it. We're going to put our hands like this, okay? And then I want you to hold them out, okay? I want everyone doing this. And then I want you to put them up above your head and kind of bow out your back. And just close your eyes and just stretch towards the ceiling. Just like that. And then bring your hands back down. Yeah, I mean, as Giselle pointed out, in today's age, we are working from home so much, right? And as a matter of fact, we are working more now that we are teleworking, okay? We're working more now behind computers than we were at work behind computers because there's less opportunity to socialize. You know, there's less opportunity to go and do fun things like go to lunch. So as a matter of fact, your meetings go through your lunch now, right? You have got to take time to implement these very practical ways to really reset your body and give your body some rest and release, okay? You can do that during meetings, in between meetings. You can stand up. You can, get that blood flowing, okay? Even get a sit-to-stand desk, which will help with that circulation. Your body will thank you. I personally have caught myself sitting for hours. Don't even have a water on my desk because I'm busy working. Okay? We have to take more time to be mindful about our own selves. Okay.
Absolutely. Good point.
So, want to hear how you feel about the stretch? Cassandra says she loves stretching. One of the things that she still enjoys is after doing her exercises, she stretches. That's wonderful. And Jamal said, okay, he's taking notes. He has to have lavender, some blue light glasses, stretching, the Calm app. Yeah, he's taking really good notes.
Very good.
Okay, so now Giselle is going to go over tip number 5.
Yes, so very, very good points about stretching. And I like the fact that you brought up the serotonin factor, because one thing that I did forget to mention about melatonin is that serotonin and melatonin are inversely related, okay? Serotonin is the precursor to melatonin.
Yes.
And so when you're not getting enough of one or the other, they're going to affect each other. And so that's one of the ways that sleep can affect your mental health. So definitely, and light, getting that first bit of light in the morning is going to flood you with serotonin as well as it decreases the melatonin. So absolutely, they are interconnected. And another way to boost your serotonin is actually by healthy eating, okay? Now, there are foods, so we talked about serotonin being the precursor to melatonin, but tryptophan is actually the amino acid or the building block to serotonin. And so there are foods that actually are high in tryptophan, and probably most of you know about turkey. Turkey is a very popular food that's high in tryptophan, but there's also foods like salmon, tofu, if you're a vegetarian, or if you just like tofu, it's very high in tryptophan. Pineapples, cheese, I love cheese, so cheese is up there. Eggs, and nuts and seeds are also high in tryptophan. However, another way to help promote a healthy brain is the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is looked at as like a brain food diet because it's very anti-inflammatory. And a lot of the mental illnesses are connected to an inflammatory process that's actually caused by increases of cortisol. So increased stress actually activates our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which increases cortisol levels. And so when you have increased stress and increased cortisol, that equals inflammation, okay? And so foods on the Mediterranean diet that have been shown to be anti-inflammatory include the foods that contain omega-3s. So the salmon not only has the tryptophan, but it also has a lot of omega-3 in there. Also, your leafy greens like spinach and kale, real healthy green, the darker the better. And herbs such as curcumin, turmeric, and ginger. And a lot of grocery stores, I know I shop at Publix, wherever you have a grocery store, they have a tea aisle. And there's a Publix brand that makes the ginger and turmeric tea, which is very delicious and also very anti-inflammatory. And it's another thing that I do for my bedtime routine is sip on my tea before going to bed, about a half hour before going to bed, so that I can get myself the anti-inflammatory benefits along with the calming effects of the tea itself. So those are definitely some foods that are not only anti-inflammatory, but high in the tryptophan. And another diet that has been very popular lately is the ketogenic diet. Now, your brain functions actually better on ketones. And to do the keto diet is very difficult because you have to have low carbs. This is something I did try, but I wasn't very successful because I'm a carb woman. I love my bread, though I have reduced my carbs. But if you can do it, the keto diet will put you into ketosis. Also is very anti-inflammatory. And if you do that with intermittent fasting, so intermittent fasting is when you say you eat your last meal at 7 o'clock, and then you won't eat again until 11 or 12 o'clock. That's like 12, 13 hours of fasting. That's just enough to get you into a state of ketosis that will have some anti-inflammatory benefits for it, and will also help you burn fat if that's something that you're interested in as well. And combining intermittent fasting and the keto diet is shown to be a wonderful way, not only to lose weight, but to get optimal brain health. And though I can't do the keto diet, I do practice intermittent fasting for my brain health. And I tell you, it's made a world of difference. I've been doing it for a year now, and my energy levels are up. My sleep is better regulated with all these tips that we're sharing with you. So it definitely works. And another thing that works with tip number 2, which Ashley's going to talk about, is spending time with loved ones. So you can certainly, cook these healthy meals with your family, with friends, invite friends over, tell them all about the anti-inflammatory diet, and be more sociable. Right, Ashley?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking about the brain diet. I know that's what they call it often because your brain functions so well off of that ketogenic diet. I have tried that, and it can be very difficult, but it is doable. It has allowed many people to be very successful in maintaining weight loss. So if you want more information on that, I actually have some resources behind me that I can give you in terms of, taking some pictures of some books that helped me in the past. I can certainly pass that information your way. So tip number 6 is spending time with family. I don't know how many of you realize it, but social interaction is huge as it relates to your mental health. When you or a loved one is isolating at home, not spending time with anyone, buried in your room, not watching TV, just laying in bed, that is when your mind can run away with you. Your thoughts just run, okay? You have to create ways to prevent things like that from happening. Okay. So a way to do that is to be intentional with your time. You know, if I were living near, um, if I were living near Giselle, for instance, perhaps instead of us, you know, planning this session over Zoom, we would have planned it together, physically, face to face. That's a way that you get that added social interaction. It's so beneficial. Okay. Now let's think about social interaction, and well being in terms of the geriatric population. Many of you have elderly family. I know I do. With saying that, please check on them because oftentimes when their loved one, their spouse, has passed on and they're left there, people don't realize that they need to check on them more frequently because people who have lost a loved one that they've been married to for 50, 60, 40 plus years, these people need increased social interaction because that loss of a loved one who has been there for so long, it can absolutely throw them into a very deep depression and have incredibly negative impacts on their health. Okay. Social interaction can literally feed your soul. It can do that, not just for people who were young, but as I stated, for people who are older as well. So schedule time to go by there and sit with them, talk to them. We know that the geriatric population, they love to sit and talk, reminisce, to reflect on their wonder years. Do that for them because you don't want them to sit in a depression and for them to start contemplating thoughts that are not beneficial for them to even start thinking about. Okay. So we can help them create a more positive mindset despite losing a loved one. And so that's what we want you to be mindful of today and each day. Okay. All right. Invest in positive social interactions. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. You don't want to just hang around anybody, right, Giselle? You want to hang around people who will lift you up, people who invest in you, people who are for you, people who, when they hear you down or see you down, they're not just going to put on their purse and leave out of the door. They're going to sit down. And they're going to, as I have been stating today in my posts and in my responses to people, hold space. Okay? That means in a very non-judgmental, comforting, compassionate way, you just allow the person to be, to grieve, to talk, to do whatever they want to do to get through that time. Okay? And so you want to surround yourself, your tribe, if you will, because a lot of people are calling it a tribe now. Surround yourself with a tribe that is absolutely positive and people who you will call, just like this to elevate you and your mood and ensure that you're not going in a very negative or wrong direction. Okay? All right. So tip number 7, exercise. Giselle is going to take it away.
Well, I want to appreciate or say that I appreciate you, Ashley, and your positive influence on my life in the short time that we've gotten to know each other here through LinkedIn. And I don't know if people in the audience know that, but Ashley and I met through LinkedIn. So you can make connections virtually like Ashley and I did. And she's someone that now, like, she's my confidant. I started crying earlier today about something that she had posted, and I just had to tell her, and it was just good to have that back and forth and that discussion with her about being able to let our emotions go and to be able to just cry when you need to cry, because sometimes that's what needs to happen, and we shouldn't feel like we need to hold our emotions in.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely the social interaction can help to uplift you as long as you're surrounding yourself with those positive and uplifting people. So definitely, amen to that.
And you know
And
what, Giselle, before you go into exercise, I want to piggyback off of what you said
mhm,
because, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. Giselle is a believer. My best friend, Crystal, she's on here to support us. She's a believer. Cassandra is a believer. Jamal's a believer. So many people are believers, right?
amen.
God absolutely ordains my steps,
Mhm,
okay? And when I started connecting with others in LinkedIn, I was very afraid, actually. I was very scared because I'm one of those people who's naturally like very guarded. I'm like, what you really want? You know what I mean? Like, I don't verbalize it, but it's in the mental, right? The
mhm.
battle is in your mind, right?
That's right.
And so, like I said, I don't verbalize it. So when I make connections with people, oftentimes I don't think that it's going to be anything more than surface, right?
Mhm.
I don't expect for it to go deeper than that. But God has been so good to me. I have literally, since December, when I started making connections in LinkedIn, God has literally, brought such amazing people into my life. I am so blessed. People such as Giselle, people such as Terry Bird, who reached out to me in my first week of transitioning, to a different position at the VA. And, I made a post about, going to another job. And that next week, she's like, so how's that new job going? I'm like, oh my gosh, she's listening. And, Cassandra, who gave us
Mhm.
education yesterday on StreamYard, who took her time,
Mhm.
another LinkedIn connection,
That's
took
right.
her time and walked us through this process.
So we could come live to you guys. That's
Come
right.
live, Courtney Herring. Yeah, there are just so many people who literally have been so amazing to me. And I am so thankful. I stand in awe, truly, of this platform. And I can't wait to see where it continues to take us as we really present our authentic self, okay? Because that's how you attract like-minded individuals. It's
That's right.
authenticity. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I
Absolutely.
had to preach, but now that we are done preaching, exercise.
Well, before we go into that, though, I want to mention some of these comments here. With as far as Emo said, it's not for all of us. I'll speak for myself. When meetings are scheduled with prospects, I do schedule lunch and dinner times and block off time in Calendly. So that's good, blocking off
That's awesome.
time. Gwendolyn Poor, she says that she drinks her turmeric, ginger, and black pepper tea. That's true. Black pepper is also very
Oh,
anti-inflammatory, and she does this 3 times a week.
nice.
And she says it definitely does work.
Mhm.
Lisa Jones is saying that she's glad to hear that we're talking about diet and its relationship with mental health because there is a huge connection
Yes,
there.
there is.
Stay tuned for future lives because this is definitely my area too. And I love to talk about the gut brain axis and how
Mhm.
our gut really plays a big role in how we feel and our gut microbiome and all that stuff. If you guys are interested in that, we'll be talking more about those things
Yes.
in future lives. So I'm glad you like that. Cassandra did keto, and she's done it many
Okay.
times, and she said that it did get her lean. She looked better when she was on it. She actually got on stage. That's right. She did bodybuilding for some time.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah. It is
awesome.
a hard diet to do, but if you can do it, good results for sure.
That's
She
wonderful.
says no Debbie or Douglas Downers allowed, Cassandra. She's a trip.
Oh, Jamal, he said that eating according to your blood type is huge for both your mental and physical. I
Oh,
need to
that's
look up more information on that. And
good.
just to let y'all know, I wish Jamal could speak. We're so sad because
Yeah.
we were originally supposed to have this discussion in an audio fashion where all of us would just literally listen to each other's voice as we speak. But we learned very late yesterday that we didn't have that capability yet. Um, so, as a matter of fact, I wanted to shout out Lydia, who's another awesome psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner that I met and have been engaging with. Just another amazing individual connection on LinkedIn. But she was going to, speak tonight as well. But in the future, we're going to get probably Cassandra to create an audio for us. So look for those invites to come your way. The next time we come to you, we hope for it to be in an audio fashion. Okay? All right. So we have a few more minutes. Want to be respectful of your time. Going to lead you out with exercise.
All right. So the last tip is actually something that you guys probably thought of when we're talking about mental fitness. A lot of times when people hear the term fitness, they think about physical fitness. Mm-hmm. But all of these things that we're talking about can actually help to exercise your brain. But exercise in and of itself is actually good for the brain. So most people, when they think about exercise, they think about the endorphin release that you get, the rush, the runner's high, which is one way that exercise helps to, boost your mood and to help with brain health. However, other ways that exercise is good and beneficial for your brain is that it's also very anti-inflammatory. So it decreases anti-inflammatory mediators and cytokines, which are just those nasty things that go into your autoimmune system when cortisol is raised. These cytokines come out and say, okay, we need to increase the inflammation in here and start this process because this person is really stressed out. And so unfortunately, what that does is creates an inflammatory response in our brain, and exercise actually helps to decrease that response. Another thing that exercise does is increases our brain's neuroplasticity. And that's just a fancy term for our brain's ability to learn and grow and make new connections. See, many years ago, we used to think that the brain can only, you're stuck with the brain that you have. Right. And if you get injury to your brain, that's it. You're done. Well, actually, science in the last 20 years has been showing that we actually have the capability to program new pathways. So that's why a stroke victim can lose function to one side of their body, but with training and exercise and physical therapy, they can actually retrain their brain how to use that part of their body. So exercise is great for neuroplasticity and increasing the brain-derived BDNF, which is just another fancy miracle drug for your brain. So increasing the volume of your brain. When you are depressed, especially, it's shown that your brain, certain areas of your brain are actually decreased in size. And BDNF helps to restore that. And exercise absolutely increases that BDNF or fertilizer for your brain and increases the ability for your brain to be neuroplastic. So definitely exercise is top on my list. And 3 days a week at minimum, if you can, include it into your daily routine. First thing in the morning or midday. You don't want to do it too late at night because it can affect your ability to fall asleep.
Absolutely. And I'm so sorry, y'all. My dogs, they don't play, okay? When someone's at that door,
it's live, girl. It's all
okay?
Good.
They don't play no games. Okay, so really appreciate you all's time and attention tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask whatever questions you would like in the chat box. We are going to allow you all to start. Well, we're going to close and we're going to allow you all to start making your way out of the room. If you want to ask us any questions, please feel free to do so. I'm going to play a little music as you go out of the room. If you have any ideas for future talks, please get in touch with Giselle or myself. We would love to hear from you. You all have been an amazing crowd, and we really appreciate you and your support tonight. For us to have this event for the very first time and see as many people showing up to support us really just encourages us, and it makes us want to continue to do more, which we are committed to do until the stigma is no more.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, and we hope that you have a wonderful, blessed night.
Bye.